My name is Gus Zuehlke, and my hometown is Appleton, Wisconsin. I was working on a submarine program at Groton, Connecticut, and then I came back when the war started and enlisted. I enlisted in the Navy at Great Lakes. Well, my friends were all pilots, and they went into the Air Force, or Navy Air Force too. And I just thought my experience on small boats living on Lake Winnebago, I kind of like the water better than the trenches. And then I took a bunch of tests, and they figured I would be okay to be an officer, I guess, so they sent me back to school, in midshipman school. Columbia University, 90-day wonders. We got a commission as ensign in 90 days. Well, they had a lot of courses like spherical trigonometry and plane trig, and then also ship handling and all of that officer to deck business. Oh yeah, we had boats that went out on the Long Island Sound, chopped the ice off the boat and kept going in the wintertime. Yeah, everybody got orders, and I put in a course for submarines. The whole class ended up in amphibious, the whole class. And so I got orders to go to the Pacific, but I had on the way they gave me a leave. Yeah, I went home, and my dad's friends had me go to places and get cigarettes for them and gasoline. They'd give it to me, but they couldn't give it to them. Well, because they couldn't get them. So, and I got them for 50 cents a pack, a carton. Well, yeah, I had my uniform on, by all means. And then I got a new set of tires. But the ration people were very kind to the service men. Commanding officer LCT 348. Later on, I got on the 222. LST. LST. Yeah, that's a big one. 20 feet and a crew of 6. The highest power we had was 40 millimeter. And well, that's about it. We flew to San Francisco, and then we took train down to San Diego, and we left out of there. Yeah, in Hawaii. When we were in Hawaii, we went over to Maui and we practiced beaching and getting off and all that. Well, yes, I lived on the island, off the island. I lived right beyond Battleship Row. We had the amphibious, and I could go off anytime I wanted to, you know. And the people were so friendly, you know, it was a very beautiful climate. Yeah, they already did the Talk, which wasn't nothing, and the Marshall Islands. The big one was Saipan. Well, we sailed over to the area, and then we would just circle around and wait until they call us in, you know. I had a complete operation officer orders on that, describing the beaches and pictures and everything. Battleships came in, but they didn't do much damage. The Japanese had a lot of caves to live in, and they did very little damage. They didn't shoot there. They had some large gun emplacements, but they didn't use those because they didn't want to identify them. Sounded impressive. Well, of course, they flew over us, and we made smoke every day. They flew their airplanes over. The number one group, the Amtraks, were the Marines, so we knew we were first, so they just called us in. And I went in early, and of course I got there on high tide and got way up on the beach, and I couldn't get off, so I spent the night there. And that was a bad night. When we approached it, No, they didn't. We didn't get too much gunfire, a little bit, but and the water was calm, so we got in okay. But during the night, they had about 6 sampans come down inside the reef, and they were going to make a landing behind the Marine. And they only had 50 caliber, and we had the 40 millimeters, so we got rid of them. Got rid of 3 of them, and then the rest of them turned around. But we sunk at least 2 or 3. We had star shells that light up the place, so we could see them. And about half of those guys never made it back. It was a tough landing for them. In fact, I talked to them all the way over. They came from Hawaii with me, or I came with them. They were back a ways. The Marines had already come up to the first hill, but they asked the beachmaster there asked for a tank, bulldozer tank, with a bulldozer on it so they could cut that hill down. And the next day I left and went and got one for them and brought it down. And I think that's where I got my Bronze Star. But the Beachmaster control ship outside, he didn't want to let me in. And I said, hell, I'm going in anyway. So I went in and got that damn bulldozer for him, which he appreciated. And he was bringing them in, see? But on the shore was the regular Beachmaster, and he knew what was going on. They were already up in the hills, and we didn't evacuate anybody. But we got out early in the morning or whatever it was. And then I went alongside a ship to get that bulldozer, and they tried to load me up with lumber. And lumber is the most dangerous thing you can have, because if you get hit, it splinters, and it's like a whole lot of bullets. So I wouldn't take it. But they said, you want to take it, you might use it on the beach. I said, not now. You keep your damn lumber. Oh, with a sling. Yeah, they had a hoist on the ship. It was a freighter. It wasn't a Navy ship. No, that was the only thing. I just took that in. That was a pretty big animal. Afterwards, I got out, and then it was pretty much over. Then another day went by. Well, we had dozens of landing craft, of course, and then we had destroyers, and we had battleships, but they stayed way out. And we had carriers, but we never saw them. They were way, way out. Yeah, we tried to shoot one down, and found out it was ours. We missed. Thank God. I mean, they didn't tell us there'd be an airplane there. This guy comes along. I said, let him have it. Oh, no, we stayed there. We went up to Saipan Harbor and went to the Navy Officers Club every night and drank, and then had music, and we had fun. But every night they'd bomb us, and we'd get under the table, but they didn't seem to hit it. They never did hit the Officers Club. They blew the sirens, and then but then it only lasted a few minutes, and then they'd go. But they were dropping bombs there. The bigger ships brought the cargo in later. And we just stayed around the harbor, and then we staged there for Tinian. And I went into Tinian on D-2 or 3 to take the Seabees in there to wire up the bomb, wire up the dynamite they had on the beach, because they blow that in the morning of the invasion so that it wouldn't get caught on them, see? And they that's why they got a bunch of safes there, a bunch of Trojans. They'd put that right over the noggin with the fuse, and then they'd blow the whole thing up the day of invasion, see, to keep otherwise when the ships come in, they'd blow them up and blow up the ships. I mean the landing craft. Yeah, they're really great. A great bunch. But we took them in there, and of course, that's when then we had some ships firing over our heads to distract the Japanese so they didn't see us down there on the beach. No, it was dangerous if you hit one of those babies. Then you're done. But they seemed to know where they were, and they dove in the water and found them all. Oh, a couple hours, 2 nights in a row. By the time I went into Tinian, there was hardly no resistance at all, hardly. They had backed up into the mountains. And in fact, we were finding Japanese a month or 2 months. In fact, I guess they found some a year that lived in the caves. But we used to go hunting for them with these flamethrowers and pop them in the caves. I was ending up at Tinian Town, the senior officer there. So when the freighters came in to bring the cargo, we had a submarine net there. And they asked for a pilot. I didn't have a pilot, so I went out there. I told them how to back that thing in. I backed it into the submarine net and got those are wired, big, got it all around the screws. That captain was madder than hell. I had to get a guy out there with a torch to cut it off, and it took quite a while. No, he had an underwater torch, and he went in there, and there's no dry dock out there. And he got it off, and then he got inside. And but we had some bad storms at night. We had some problems there, but when I was in San Francisco, I signed up for an officers club. And when I got to Tinian, one day a freighter came in with my name on it, with about 10 cases of scotch and bourbon. And so I didn't know how the hell, that stuff. And I had moved ashore at the time because I was a senior guy there. And so I got one of those pontoons and put it in there and welded it shut. That's the only way I could protect it. Because, I guess somebody unwelded it in time, but that was it. After Tinian, I went home. That's when I got my leave. Okay. And then when I went back, I ended up in Australia, came up through New Guinea and all the way up to Lady Gulf, and that Lady Gulf was secured. And then I got on the Admiral's staff, and I was one of 5. And I had charge of the LCIs. And we each had a different category of ship. And that was where I ended up. Uncle Dan Barbie, that was the Ancon, A-N-C-O-N. That was the flagship. And Captain Barquette, and he was my immediate boss. While we were there, the war ended in Europe, which we were very happy because we always got the short end of the equipment. And then the British sent over 3 of their carriers, the Indomitable and the Figaro, and something else that didn't work. And Halsey took them through the typhoon, and their carriers came into Lady Gulf with their flight decks crashed down, 100 feet in the air, just collapsed. They were all injured in that typhoon. It was interesting to me to see those guys so damaged up so high. Well, my mother wrote me a lot. You got the mail. Mail was good. And of course, I could censor my own letters, so I could tell them where I was. But it was an interesting tour of duty when we were at Lady, because we'd go over to Guion and we had South Pacific put on a program, the whole play. It was interesting. And things like that.